for sure. And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, Thursday, January 29th. And the DFS gods have blessed us with another really good slate with all the games and tons of late swap opportunities. I don't know what we've done. We must have been good boys in 2025 because we're getting paid off in 2026. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow us both on Twitter. That would be me, at Josh Engleman, right here, at Eric Lindquist. What's going on, brother?
Not much, just lamenting the fact that Chicago and the NBA and everything else just got a lot of kerfuffery from last night that obviously influenced some of my decision-making, how I go about doing things night before, and woke up to a lot of madness because I couldn't figure it out by myself night before. Exactly what I was looking at. I usually record after, it's like midnight Eastern time. But now that the injury report's updating every 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. You're always updating it. You're always looking at it. And I was like, this isn't right. I knew it wasn't like 100% right, but something didn't feel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Josh, why don't you feed the people in? Because it's just one of the weirder things that I can remember. We have like AI running NBA.com injury report now because I don't know how this gets screwed up.
Yeah, so this got me yesterday morning. The Heat Bulls game being canceled, whatever it was, 2-3 weeks ago, whenever that actually happened. The NBA injury report since yesterday morning, when it first loads the next day's games, has been showing what the injury report was for Miami and Chicago for that day. So it was marking Jalen Smith out with his concussion. It was marking Josh Giddey out. And it was very confusing. Screwed me up on the strategy show yesterday. Everybody in chat was like, yo, you are super wrong. None of this is true. So I had to figure out what was going on. And it was still wrong this morning. It was wrong for hours. Finally corrected now, but wild stuff. Sleep at the wheel, NBA.
Yeah, asleep at the wheel and also just influencing action because one of my favorite plays of the entire day, I would assume over 3.5 assists, was plus 136 on FanDuel last night. You know, it's like, hello. Oh, sorry, dude. No, nobody's there. It wasn't a knock. It was
so dumb. It was so dumb. You're lucky you're in my AirPods because we would have got it from the same way if Riggs heard you knocking.
It was a bit. I didn't think about that when I was doing that, obviously, but wow. Yeah, Duke's here to cover. In case anybody knocks on the door, I promise you, in our little shed in the back house that I've got here, we're going to be safe. But hello, NBA. Let's figure our shit out because that's really, really annoying.
I've got another thing that's really annoying, and it's going to be the amount of Milwaukee Bucks we have to play today against the Washington Wizards. They are the team du jour right now without Giannis Antetokounmpo. We've got Ryan Rollins, 50% owned, Bobby Portis, close to 50% owned, Kuzma, Turner. Got a couple more coming as well. Yep. How are you enjoying this Milwaukee Bucks experience today? Is this one you're ready to take on?
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, how about this slate in general? I mean, nobody's above 8K pulling ownership. Michael Porter Jr., the closest thing that we got to it. We've had a lot of stars and scrubsy slates of late. Yesterday, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell and Luka Doncic can just go eat shit, but I still had a profitable night. I can't be too mad. Greg ended up getting second in the $4. I ended up in the top 20. Like, everything was pretty nifty overall. Like, I'm not going to complain, but this slate is wild purely because Milwaukee, you've got 4 guys in the top 8 of ownership, and you're just kind of rotating like 2 by 2. It's like a little bit of a Noah's Ark kind of deal. Like, just seems like I look at my lineups and almost everything's $2. I don't have a ton of like $3 in certain things, and I think part of that is I don't want to just jam early value all the time. Like, I think stuff just randomly breaks in Houston, Atlanta. I think randomly we could get Josh Giddey sitting. So I'm pretty happy with what I'm looking at right now in like my top 20. I'm playing 40 lineups today for what it's worth. So fewer than I had yesterday, fewer than I had the day before. But just playing some of the 20 max stuff, I feel pretty confident that we're going to get something breaking later. I don't know what it is. I can't even pinpoint it, but I think yesterday was probably the most absent we've been of late value in a long, long time. Everything broke away from where we could potentially have some cheaper guys come in. And it didn't matter once Luka and Donovan Mitchell shit the bed for me to some extent. Was still able to have a couple lineups break through. But today's lineups basically are just Joe Val, Mo Gay, and $2, and then trying to find some of my favorite pieces to spread around with them. Kaishan George, some of the Washington guys are kind of interesting, but God, it's basically just Milwaukee pulling tons of ownership, but they should be.
Chat seems to think you're not on your microphone. I didn't really notice. It was crystal clear to me.
There
but
we go. Yeah, that's going to sound better right there. It was not on my microphone. Yeah. Great call by Chat. It's good to have Chat here once in a while.
Dude, you were crystal clear and very easy to hear in my ear. So I was, it didn't bother me one bit.
Go team.
We're here.
Useful. Thank you,
we
guys.
also so we obviously tipped off this Milwaukee ownership, and that's how I let it in. But those guys are not actually the most owned, and that is because $3,700 Mo Gay, power forward center eligible for Atlanta, is 60% owned because Onyeka Okongwu's face got exploded yesterday, and he is having dental surgery.
Unbelievably bad break, and I mean, I guess my question is, why is nobody playing Christian Koloko? I don't understand this at all. Can you fill me in why nobody wants to play Christian Koloko today? Because he was going to be Nuke of the night. I found somebody else, so I'm happy to throw him out there right away. But I could not love Christian Koloko more on today's slate at sub 7% ownership.
Does that mean you're trying to tell me that you're not a big gay guy today? No?
I like Christian Koloko a lot for tournaments today. I just want to throw that out there.
I got you. You kind of look like Steve Lavin a little bit.
Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to me?
Well, let's talk through it. I'm going to pull up the recent rotations here for our boy Mo Gay, our boy Christian Koloko. I mean, realistically, I trust Mo Gay more from let me just filter this to Atlanta, and I could walk through my thought process.
Yeah,
because I think you're on the right track in a pretty big way. Realistically, I feel way better about Mo Gay for the simple fact that one, he's a real Atlanta Hawk guy and not just a temporary dude like Christian Koloko. Two, he's got the power forward center eligibility, which really increases his flexibility here in comparison to where with Koloko at just center. We've got Mo Gay in it for 30 minutes. We've got Christian Koloko in for 22. I think this is a really good spot to use more variance.
There you go.
In the Sims. Because I think realistically, Mo Gay can play as little as 20. Or, upwards of north of 30 if that's what's cooking, especially in this matchup against Houston. And I think that Christian Koloko at 22, while I don't expect him to get a ton of minutes, there's certainly a very easy path for him to get to 28 or something in that neighborhood. I think Azanul at the flat 3K and power forward eligible is equally as interesting as a guy that is not really getting all that much ownership. It's not that Mo Gay doesn't look great, because he does, and it's very easy to see the path. It's that I think there are very clear alternatives in a high variance spot for Atlanta.
That's exactly it. For me, it comes down to also, seems like Christian Koloko, a guy that they were happy to kind of have be strict backup 5. You look at Mo Gay, he's slid over and played alongside of him a little bit here. I wouldn't be surprised if they started together. For what it's worth. We've got Koloko started, we got Gay starting. So I think that's what we're assuming is going to happen. And as a result, get a first and a third rotation together. I'm sure that they want to bring CJ McCollum on. And I would assume one of them sits and McCollum closes. I think that that's a really easy, natural thing. Luke Kennard's been shooting the ball lights out. That's kind of been the story of his career in the NBA. He's just such a poor defender that you can't hide him all the time come playoff time. Otherwise, he's just so useful as a regular life player out there. Vit Krejci kind of is in his role doing the spot up shooting thing. But I just kind of work through these rotations and I think there's 25, 26 on the table pretty easily for Koloko in this spot. They're both 6'11 guys. So like, you don't need to have it be one or the other necessarily in some of these spots. And if Şengün ends up out, I'm going to feel especially confident in this. And we're going to get Capella as one of the best pieces of value on the slate. Like, assuming that he starts. I mean, they could, I assume that he starts. I doubt we get Jeff Green dusted off. They could go Jayshawn Tate and potentially go Jabari Smith at the 5, but like, we haven't really seen a ton of this where it's Steven Adams who's out for the year now and Alperen Şengün who's questionable. I just keep looking at the ownership and it just seems too wide. And then I don't know who closes. Like, let's say Koloko has just a smash couple of quarters and you potentially just have Mo Gay who comes off the floor for CJ McCollum. That would not shock me whatsoever. Like, it feels far more volatile than currently being projected is all I want to say.
The more I look at this, the more I think that they almost have to close with 2 bigs in some form. Okay. Because if they don't, I'm just gonna put you through a thought exercise here very quickly.
Kispert comes off the floor. Kispert becomes your guy, like McCollum you're closing with in this kind of iteration. Like,
yeah. You want to swap CJ for Kispert, whatever. That part's not that interesting to me. Okay. The part that's most interesting to me is, let's say you're closing here, and you're attempting to do it with one of those dudes. Who's guarding Kevin Durant?
Mo Gay.
Okay. Then who's guarding Alperen Şengün?
Yeah. So if Şengün's in, then you're definitely looking better for Koloko. And you're not getting that ownership stripped away from Koloko, where we obviously would want to play Capella. Like Capella, I don't care about revenge. I don't care about those things. They just like to have a traditional 5 there in a lot of spots. I don't think Reed Shepherd steps in. I don't think they want Jabari Smith at the 5 necessarily. It would feel too easy to just play Clint Capella for a bunch of minutes for one game on a back-to-back. Like, they didn't even play him in the second half yesterday, which was kind of surprising. Clint Capella had a really good first rotation. If you were watching that game on ESPN last night, like, it was a very good rotation, a couple of blocks. He had a couple of rebounds that were pretty well. Like, he was fine. Nothing special. He's Clint Capella, but like, they didn't play him in the second half. So he's on bubble wrap. You could just unload him if you don't have Alperen Şengün out there. And I mean, he'll end up being one of the best value plays on the slate if we get him starting at the 5 and Alperen Şengün's out. But then we'll just have a lot of this game in general. Like, we already have the Atlanta side, and now we'll just jam a bunch of the Houston side. And that's kind of what makes Milwaukee and Washington very interesting to me, where I do kind of go through and individually, like when you're building 40 lineups, it's easy to like hand click on like, hey, I just want to have 2 Milwaukee guys. Like, I really don't want 3 Milwaukee guys if this news is still pending when we get to 7 p.m. Eastern time. And just kind of thinking through the process of it, I boosted Christian Koloko. That could very easily in my mind, turn into Clint Capella. 3,500. I'm assuming I can find the 200. I'm assuming I have the swap ability with how much of that game I have in general. It shouldn't be that hard. So yeah, I like Christian Koloko a lot more than 7% of lineups right now. I like Mo Gay just fine. So chat, you can settle down as well. He's just fine, but he is 63% owned, and that's just a little bit wide. But yeah, as you said, Kevin Durant, that's a really good point, because Mo Gay probably the only body. Austin Newell probably is the other guy. Not saying that like that's all that likely, but like you go through what's potential there. He's a 6'10" big body. Like, he's known, at least back in the day, he was at Georgia. He was a good defender there in college. That was kind of his calling card from scouts, was like, hey, this is a 6'10" guy who can guard 1 through 5. But hasn't really developed all that much here at the NBA level yet. He's 20. He's a rookie. Like, I'm not that shocked that he's not getting crazy minutes or anything, but like, there is a world where Austin will, Josh Giddey out. Let's go.
Here we go, folks.
Bad for Io. I needed that so bad from a betting perspective. Oh my God.
Jalen Smith in, Josh Giddey out. I'll be honest with you. It would have been real interesting shit if Jalen Smith was also out and that injury report proved prescient, but it didn't end up happening.
No, we don't want
Grimes out for Philly.
I love chaos.
Quentin Grimes out, Paul George in for today.
All right.
That would have been something real special if those guys ended up being out. The fix would have been extra special in at that point. Yeah, this Atlanta ownership, I want way more of Ace and Newell. I want more of Christian Coloco. And if that changes for the 8 o'clock swaps, great. But I would like to park some ownership here. There's way too much variance in the playing time for these guys to me today to have this sort of confidence. Honestly, like Vid Krejci being 3,500 shooting guard, small forward eligible is also interesting to me in this same way. 2% owned. 0.8 fantasy point per minute guy, but can clearly get more time. Isn't small, so can work a little bit more. We're talking like Vic Krejci, 6'8". That's not like they got a lot of guards today. Sneaky shit on Atlanta today. We got to hit a couple super chats and messages. Miami Mike hit us with the super chat. Flag, Gay, Schroeder, Nukes. Okay.
Way to go. Way to put 3 nukes into play. That's real fair. If I had 3 nukes every night, I guarantee I'm going to hit 1. Way to go. Way to go, Miami Mike. But here's the thing. We appreciate
Should have just went with Flag and nothing else because he's 3% owned.
Flag is a really good nuke. But here's also the thing with Flag. I don't think we automatically get 36 minutes. And that has me a little bit concerned. Like you think he might be flying at half staff today? Yeah, he might be flying half staff with Moge. Like there's just a lot of weirdness that could potentially be going down in your lineups tonight. It's all right. Love is love.
Our boy Anthony Davis, the delivery of Eric not being a big gay guy today deserves this super chat. So great. One of the most legendary ESPN clips in my personal life. I watch it countless times every single year. So damn good.
And then there's the Fox. Yeah, we're not going to say that. Got you by surprise.
Wasn't ready for that one.
You're welcome. Here's the thing. We have funny delivery. We've been doing this for a while, people. We've been doing this
for a
while. Yeah.
Gay and Coloco in the same lineup in single entry. I mean, I certainly don't have an issue with it.
So
yeah, I don't think there would be any way to not, like, you can certainly find a really good version of a lineup with both of them in it.
Yep. And again, I very vehemently disagree with the Coloco ownership. It's just what I'm getting at. I'm going to have north of 15% for sure.
Last in, Huerter, Drew Smith, or Kennard. Huerter will look a little bit better, but not by a ton.
I don't know. I don't know if what you're saying is correct there. I do think we're going to see Kevin Huerter look very different. He looked crazy this morning in the prop tool. So shout out the prop tool for, again, we were updating throughout this morning. And so that's one of those things where you look in here at the Stokastic prop tool and there's no question whatsoever. You can figure out completely with the market slider where the market's at for certain things. You can figure out exactly on the projection slider where we're at on things. And so you simply take into account both sides of it. And the market was completely off of Kevin Huerter. And our projections were completely on him. Now, obviously, the giddy and the ridiculous amount of things that were going on with the injury report, it was just all out of whack. And so when you have stuff that's going to be updating based off of that, you're going to have a little bit of an issue. Jalen Smith as well was out in our projections this morning. But if you were keen to that, if you were paying attention to certain things, there were some edges to kind of find when you took it to the market slider and you took a look at kind of where Kevin Huerter was sitting at. I'm telling you right now, he is going to look much better than I think you think he is. From a DFS perspective, shooting guard, small forward, 4K. No, Josh Giddey. I mean, this is going to be one of the most popular pieces of value on the slate at this point. No? He was this morning. That's all I'm getting at.
It's hard to say.
Okay.
Like, the lack of Trey Jones here is interesting because
that's the other part of it.
The last stretch of time when Giddey was out, we saw Huerter get 29 minutes and 30 minutes. Those were in games that also didn't include Patrick Williams. Previous to that, when Patrick Williams was available and Giddey was out, that also had Trey Jones, and that kept Huerter limited. Realistically, it seems like he's going to probably jump to like the 25-ish range,
Okay.
26-ish range. So yeah, that's probably going to look quite a bit tastier. I know one thing. The answer is definitely not Luke Kennard. Not that he can't have a big day, but he's 2% owned. There's no way. It's Huerter now 100%.
Yeah, I feel that way as well. And Drew Smith, shout out our projections team on Drew Smith in a big way yesterday. I mean, that was a Stokastic special. I was not looking at Drew Smith in any way, shape, or form. He's seen more minutes. He's had more opportunity. There's obviously not a playmaker in Tyler Hero, and we've had Davion Mitchell now out for the last couple. And even with Jonas in, I ended up updating everything. Did I say his name wrong to you again? Go ahead. Just let me know what an idiot I am. Go ahead. Let me know. I watch a lot of Miami Heat games. Sorry that I don't pay attention to the guy that is playing the last 2 with 9-game slates. Go ahead. Let me know.
You nailed it. It was perfect. No notes. No notes.
Okay.
It was
I
perfect.
feel like you're being sarcastic. What am I on a show with
Me?
Greg? What's going on?
Sarcastic?
No.
I have never been sarcastic on this show.
I hate you so much. Jonas? What am I seeing here? Jonas?
That was way warmer than the first one.
Jonas. Like Jabberwockies. What are we doing here? God.
Guys, props tool still in beta, still free if you have a subscription at Stokastic right now. We're going to take a peek at this after these 6:30 lineups drop. We'll get a projections update. We'll see what's cooking in the market. Maybe whip up a little parlay for you guys. If you want to check this out and you are a Stokastic sub, it's very simple. Props tool at the top of the screen next to the data hub. Click the link, set your sports books, find the goods. It's all here right in front of you, and set the amount that you want. Maybe you want to go buck wild, 100% projections, YOLO style. Probably not my recommendation. Maybe you want to go a little bit more balanced. Take it into like the 50-50 range. You can balance this out however you would like. Don't be afraid to do so.
For what it's
worth, one more
I love
super
going
chat.
100 and taking a look at both sides of it. That's my favorite way to kind of utilize it right now and figure out kind of where I'm at relative to where the market is, where we are at, and kind of like being able to gauge the extremes of both sides of it. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. And I got a play for you today in the betting streets. That'll be fun.
I'm excited to hear it. I'm also excited to hear your thoughts here. I think we have the same answer. I usually don't do the revenge stuff, but what about Michael Porter Jr. today back in Denver? I know this much. It will not matter to me whatsoever that he's playing Denver.
Oh, you mean my King of the Court pick from 2 days ago that got people $300 of bonus bets? I've now given out 4 King of the Court picks, and I've hit it twice. That seems pretty good. I feel like I'm batting a pretty good ratio there for the people. Also, shout out my dad who said, "Oh, I didn't know when the game was starting," and he was attending the Phoenix-Brooklyn game. He was attending the game, and he just tried to tell me that he didn't know what time it was starting. He showed up half an hour late and didn't put the bet in. So
you weren't the only Stokastic employee to win King of the Court that day, but it happened without Michael Porter Jr. Shout out Ben Raza, Alex Sarr.
I love that for us. See, that's the beautiful thing. Yeah, except for we couldn't get 1 PRA the last 3 minutes of the game. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I was cheering for Sarr in that moment. Bigger payout. I wanted to see what it would have been. I think Sarr would have been a bigger payout than MPJ. I don't know if they posted it, so I'm just guessing. I don't know if they posted the difference between the two. They typically do. By the way, projections got updated about a minute ago, so potentially ownership hitting shortly thereafter. I'm going to filter this down to the Chicago Bulls and see if that is covered yet. And it is, with a 30% ownership number to Kevin Huerter, 4K, shooting guard, small forward eligible. Yeah.
I hate how good I am at this sometimes, Josh. I really do. I do.
I'll be honest. I forgot Trey Jones was out, and that was stuck in my head.
That's okay.
Because I was like, I don't know. Like he didn't I remembered him not getting a ton of minutes in that previous situation. It was out of my brain. Obviously, the 4K guard forward eligibility guy was going to be fucking popular. Matas Buzelis is 20% owned here for Chicago, 15% more for Kobe White, for Vooch, 10% for Jalen Smith, 7% for your boy Ayo Dosunmu. Hard to not like Huerter here. I mean, that is perfect flexibility. We're talking about a game that starts at 8, so it's not even like you're locking in a roster spot early. I'm here.
Not only that, I think Chicago is one of the most active teams that we have on the trade block right now. They should be, at least. They've been living in purgatory for many, many a year. And we're hearing Kobe White. We're hearing Vucevic. We're hearing Ayo. We're hearing everybody's name. But what I do know is that Kevin Huerter didn't play a lot yesterday, and the other guys did. And that kind of also has me in the Kevin Huerter side of things at 4K. He's got the best positionality you can have. You can play him in 5 different lineup spots. He's got a great fantasy point per minute rate. He's just minutes are gold, and Kevin Huerter at 4K was always going to look just dynamically good. Again, a little bit of a cheat just because I kind of got to see behind the curtain of what it would have been if we had Giddey and Jalen Smith out. So I kind of had an idea already of where Kevin Huerter was going to land. But yeah, it goes from a 1% play to one of the best pieces of value that we have on the slate.
Yeah, let's look at that now in the grand scheme of things. Still Mo Gay at the tippy top, Ryan Rollins, Bobby Portis, Joe Val at 6,500 is 40% owned. And then you fall off a giant tier. Joe Val's just north of 40. Dyson Daniels and Kevin Huerter are just under 30. Norm Powell available to play. Khalil Ware available to play. That appears to be everything there. We've got a bit of an ownership gap at that point. Do you want to offer up your Joe Val thoughts here? 6,500 center only. We saw him get real minutes last time out, which is something that I didn't know how quickly it would happen. So I feel quite a bit better about him here than I would have if we hadn't seen that yet. How are you managing him today?
Yeah, I bet him at plus 225 to have a double-double night before on Tuesday night. It was Wednesday. He ends up closing inside of plus 145. And then I saw DK DFS on him. So I felt like extra vindicated because, again, I like to be aligned more so with my guy than not. But I kind of look at the board today. I love jamming Joe Val right now. Part of that is because then I'm able to also turn that in to another center, specifically looking at Clint Capella. I think when you look at this slate and what can potentially break, Clint Capella starting would cosmically change best value that we've got on this slate. So I think the best course of action right now is just play 70, 80% Joe Val. I'm playing, again, 40 lineups, so it's not like I don't think I'd probably have that much if I were playing my 150. If I'm playing Minimax, if I'm playing, the $5 or something like that, I'd probably be trimming it down a little bit. But I like playing tons of him, knowing that could very easily turn into another 2-center build with another piece of value. And if I have to go up to the Watsons and the Jamal Murrays and whatever else of the world just to make the salaries work, just fine to do it. But outside of, it's also nice that we got Chicago here too, because that's going to strip some of the ownership that would have been all Milwaukee, Washington. It's going to move it a little bit later for us, and we're going to be able to have the swap ability that we need to be able to react to any kind of Şengün news and turn it into a ton of Houston on the other side. But Clint Capella, if you got Jayshawn Tate at 3K without Dorian Finney-Smith today, Tari Eason today, and they decided they wanted to play Jabari Smith at the 5, such as life, like I think there's something there that you could potentially go to. The nightmare for me would be Aaron Holiday getting a start. I don't know why they would want to do that in this spot, but they've done that a couple of times randomly when I didn't expect it. And so just kind of being on high alert for stuff like that. But the whole point of the matter is I want double center lineups if Capella ends up being a thing. So just play a ton of Joe Val right now, and I'm happy for it to be Joe Val. He's underowned. You're on mute. That's what's happening. I cannot hear you in any way, shape, or form.
Joel Embiid in, Malik Monk out.
How do I get shit all the time on these shows? How am I the one? I'm here giving analysis. I'm doing the thing.
I was muted. What do you want me to do?
Don't be
Malik
muted.
Monk. Unowned. Well, I didn't want anybody to hear me slurping out of my water bottle. then I forgot.
Slurping.
You know, what are you going to do? All right. How do we get different today? Let's think about this right now. If we look at the screen, sorted by ownership, there are 2, 4, 6, 8. 10. There are 11 names on the screen right now. That's the top 11 dudes in ownership. The most expensive one is $8,200. However, let me add a filter here just to make this a little bit easier to understand. Nope, not minutes. That would be incredibly stupid. Actually, no, minutes will work. We have 10-8 SGA, 10% owned. 10-3 Cade, 2% owned. Tyrese Maxey, 9,900, 5% owned. 9,800 Jamal Murray, 5% owned. Şengün, if he plays, 5% owned. $9,200 Ant, 5% owned. KD, if Şengün doesn't play, 8,900, 8% owned. Chet's not owned. Randall's not owned. Should we just be paying up today?
I don't know yet. That's the Clint Capella thing. You're talking about taking Alperen Şengün off a floor. You know what happens then? Kevin Durant becomes an absolute jam. You know what else happens? Clint Capella probably becomes an absolute jam. So, like, I don't know if I am going to be going up to the tippy top, but what I do know is that Joel Embiid, you can't reverse engineer your lineups after the fact to account for a piece in the early slate. So, like, I do want to find a path to get to like north of this number on Joel Embiid purely because his usage has been absolutely out of control. I don't really like the Maxey number. I would rather take shots on like the Cade or the Jamal Murray late if I absolutely had to utilize more salary and I needed to get to like raw fantasy points. But like Joel Embiid has the second highest raw fantasy point number on the entire slate. And if we get a piece of value in Koloko, or not Koloko, sorry, Capella, I would want to play all the Capella and all the land. Like right now, nobody's really getting there the way that they probably should. If you knew that we were going to get like a 3K center in Capella is like a massive piece of value on the slate, right? Like that's what it comes down to.
7x value on Mo Gay at 3,700. Even if you don't like it, Azanul 3K, Koloko 3,300. Terrence Mann, 3,400. Kevin Huerter, 4K. What am I missing here? The value's here. Like, we already have it. Why not just park a bunch of ownership on SGA, park a bunch of ownership on Cade, park some on Jamal Murray if you want, and figure it out as we go. Like, these guys are all here, and a couple of these dudes are going to drop monsters, and I don't see anything in the data right now that slows me down from being able to pay up for some of these guys. If this slate is on paper a balanced slate, give me the stars and scrubs version all day.
But if we don't have Alperen Şengün, don't you want to just get to 100% Kevin Durant?
I mean, I don't know about that much, but like, yeah, in that case, yeah, I want to then move some of that around to a different one of these guys that are also unowned at this point. Like, I just want more of all of this.
Yep, totally fair. And then I've got a nuke of the night that's going to be up in this range too. So I'm saving him. He's in the chamber waiting to go. I'm very excited about a couple of these guys that are low owned, but Joel Embiid is one. Positionally, you talked about Newell, you talked about Mo Gay, like they're not eating up a center spot for me. I can play too. And so, yeah, even though I get the Capella piece to kind of break my way, there's that. And Jonas Valanciunas, he's showing up in everything in the Sims right now, as he should be, because he's under-owned and he's an awesome, awesome play. My main thing is just trying to get like what the stars and scrub version of this slate is. And, SGA against Minnesota, Anthony Edwards against OKC. I mean, these two guys specifically in the same game environment, it could end up being just absolutely redonkulous. So there's that. I'm with you. I'm completely with you.
So if you take our optimal right now, 287.26, 313 in ownership. I locked just SGA and Durant. The projection drops by 11.3 fantasy points, and the ownership drops by 73.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And you're still taking on Okay, a little low. It might be too much there, but you're still taking on heavily owned Huerter, heavily owned Gay, heavily owned Joval, heavily owned Ryan Rollins. Like, there's probably a path here with a different combination of the two guys that I locked in where you're paying up and you're contrarian enough and it still looks good. Like, realistically, the top pay-ups in value that aren't Embiid are Şengün, Durant, Sabonis to a degree, who with the power forward eligibility is at least a little appealing. Don't know what to do there.
Hold the beat. Levine is coming off the bench. What the shit?
Bucks will start Rollins, Green, Kuzma, Portis, Turner. Kings will start Schroeder, Clifford, DeRozan, Achua, Sabonis.
Yeah, you didn't say Zach Levine's name. That's wild. Levine off the bench. Shit.
He can't be playing, right?
If he's not, Dennis Schroeder is just a jam. Clifford becomes way better, and Keon Ellis probably comes into like some kind of play. Like, is this... I don't know. Zach Levine got benched in the second half of a game recently. They were basically, he was just like, oh, he was knocking down shots, but he's like, well, we kind of also need to get stops if we're going to come from behind, yada, yada, yada. So there's that.
Okay. So he has not started one game this year. Let me see what the context behind that was.
Did he play?
He didn't start January 4th against Milwaukee and played 35 minutes.
Oh, God. That's not what I wanted to hear. That was his first game back, for what it's worth. He came off the bench. He hadn't played since the 14th of December. I'm looking at it.
They started Westbrook, DeRozan, Murray, Reynaud, and Achua. And he played 35 minutes off the bench. Okay, yeah. I mean, I would have just assumed that he had never not started for the Kings. That's about as weird of what I could have seen as could have possibly showed up there when I looked it up. I would have never expected 35 minutes.
I mean, I was just like, wait, why is Levine? This is a wild deal. My guess, you're limiting his minutes, potential trade partner or something. Like, we don't need to know that, Ime. We don't need to know that either. Like, we know he's a game time decision. Just tell if he's playing or not. Tell us if his ankle is the size of a bowling ball or not. That's what I need to know.
Now, what you need to know is, what are we going to parlay right now? We got a projections update like 2 minutes ago. We've got some goods here in front of our face. Do we want to look for a specific sports book? Do you care where we're going here? One for me, one for you?
That. You know what? Because they go slower, I would say Prize Picks is probably a pretty sneaky spot. And if you guys haven't checked out Josh's content for Prize Picks over on Tails either, kind of doing it wrong. He's made me some money. He's made a lot of people some good money. Pick them. You're not going to hit all the time, because when you're putting 6 plays together, that can be a disaster. But also, there's a Cade Cunningham discount to 18.5 points today. I say we add 2 plays. Let's add one from me, one from you, that we add to that based on what we think is going to go down, because I think that that's a really fun way to do it.
We've got no edge on Prize Picks whatsoever right now.
Player
and
minutes?
only
Take
Ant.
the player minutes down to like 18.
Went to 20.
Okay. We got Zeke. Zeke.
I'm not picking Zeke Naji. You want to attach your well, I mean, it's an under at least, but yeah, I think we could do better than that.
Okay,
let's see what's out there on DraftKings and FanDuel right now. Just
let's go to the
to make things easy.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple more bullets in the gun here.
Vic David Figueroa, he's sub to Josh on Tails. That's a good thing to be.
Let's ignore this Zach Levine one for right now, because we know that is subject to change. We are seeing a bunch of Sacramento here, but I'm assuming that's not in the most recent update. That was too short of an amount of time. Yeah, correct.
Quick.
So We got a Ryan Kalkbrenner under 5.5 rebounds hanging out there. Some Portis on FanDuel. Same line on DK.
I think that Portis threes looks pretty darn good, don't you? I mean, that's the one that I could probably get behind right from the get-go. I know it's one of our highest EV numbers that we've got, but if you watched him the last couple, he'd shot 7 threes in 3 consecutive games, and 2 of those were with Giannis. He's been one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA this season, 46% from deep. You're taking on a Washington team on the other side. You get 7-8 in that direction. I'm happy to roll out with a little bit of Bobby Portis, don't you think? Plus money on 2.5.
Am I missing something? This is Bobby Portis under assists.
Okay. You are definitely missing.
But I would have liked a Bobby Portis 3-point prop if it were there.
Yeah, it is there.
Not.
It's the very first thing that I've got. So I have it on 50-50 blend. I'm not sure what you have right now. But update it.
Oh yeah. Let's move the blend. Let's see what we've got here.
Yep. So 50-50 blend, Bobby Portis is the first thing that popped for me, and I like that a lot.
Love it. I was looking at Portis on the screen, so I thought you and I were looking at the same thing, and I was like, no. I don't know what you're talking about. Clearly you're reading something.
Well, this is the great part because I get to take the market and I get to take our projections into account together. We have the best of both worlds. And so, yeah, we're trying to find that median outcome here. And we're trying to just find that nice little pocket of what works for us. And I already liked Bobby Portis at this kind of a number. Again, the volume, we expect it to be up without Giannis. That goes without saying. There's usage and opportunity to go around. Do I expect him to be this efficient without Giannis on the floor? No, I don't expect 46% from 3, but you change that baseline to 40, he still looks really good if you're getting 8 shot attempts up. So I'll take that.
Okay. I'm going to go grab that right now.
Okay.
Let's see. Bobby Portis over 2.5 plus 145. Got it.
Thank you.
Actually, oddly enough, 3 plus 3s for Bobby Portis is plus 146, which makes no sense, but an additional 1 notch up.
Let's do it. Let's take it.
All right, so I've got that. Let me see where I want to land here. Let's refresh this bad boy. So I can't trust myself there since we have Portis. I'm going to pull the FanDuel lines. That way I don't duplicate what's in front of us since we're going to go straight to DK. I'm going to also, never mind. I won't say what I'm about to say because that's not going to be a true statement. Oh, I wanted that to be a points prop on Trey Johnson so bad.
Me too. I was just looking at that one.
Let's see. No, I don't. Diabate was so hot yesterday on the boards. I can't run headfirst into that. Oh, I love this. Give me Paul George over 4.5 rebounds. I know there's a bit of juice on this, minus 148, but this is a stupid Sacramento team.
I got the plus money covered. You've got a nice prop covered. Let's throw them together and make it work.
5 plus, minus 148. 2-pick parlay plus 312. Not too shabby there. Thank you very much. Props tool at Stokastic currently open as a beta. No comments on that one, folks. Open for your pleasure. All right. Well, I couldn't put as much money as I wanted to down, and it took it down by half, but we will take it. Locked and loaded.
Top 3 live before lock of all time. That's beautiful. And we've got 15 minutes, which I think means it's probably nuke time, if we're going to be honest, Josh. We've got ourselves the early
We're going to hit 2 super chats first.
Oh, do it.
We got to hit 2 super chats first. We got 2 in the hopper. Dyson versus Kobe White, last man in.
Dyson. Got to be Dyson.
There's too much available for Atlanta today, so that's going to be Dyson for me.
Yep. Same.
And then favorite plays, position by position on FanDuel. Let's let it rip. Sorted by optimal. This is the FanDuel side. Point guard starts and stops immediately with Ryan Rollins. Whether you're putting him in at point guard or shooting guard, there's not really much of a discussion either direction. Kind of the same story for Dyson Daniels, also point guard, shooting guard eligible. Those two dudes need to be involved in those two positions no matter what. After that, you've got a couple options for point guard. What stands out to you? Schroeder, White, CJ, SGA, if you want to pay up.
Yeah, I like Schroeder a lot. I mean, this has kind of changed a little bit of my game plan for this slate specifically. Point guard, shooting guard, FanDuel. We're talking 4,700. That's cheaper than we got on DK. And when you get a cheaper than on DK price tag, that's generally a really good thing with a 3,500 floor. So yeah, Dennis Schroeder looks awesome on FanDuel.
For anybody that shows up at the shooting guard spot that isn't involved there, it doesn't really exist. It's Kevin Huerter at 4,200. He's 15% owned. Otherwise, everybody that we just talked about that had the point guard eligibility are the same guys that have the most interest at the shooting guard spot. So you're overlapping a lot with those dudes. I would certainly have no problem whatsoever hiding some ownership on Jamal Murray. From a small forward perspective, it changes pretty dramatically. If I sort this just by ownership, you'll see only two guys north of 20% ownership, Kyle Kuzma and Matas Buzelis. Otherwise, it falls off a cliff. Do you see anything else that you want to focus on at small forward?
I would say Dylan Brooks, purely because there is the chance that we still get Gillespie sitting. And when you're comparing the two slates, FanDuel DK, I think Dylan Brooks, 6,700 on DK, not a ton of fun to me. 6,500 on FanDuel, a little bit more fun.
At the power forward spot, we are very clearly talking about two people here. Mo Gay, Bobby Portis, both 50% owned. Not in any way surprised to see those numbers. They are priority plays across both sites today. Got a little bit more coming in for Jalen Smith, also Kuzma and Buzelis once again. I don't have much else to add here. I think power forward's pretty cut and dry.
Yep, move along.
And then finally, the center spot. If you didn't use Mo Gay or Bobby Portis at power forward, you could very easily use him at center. If we're talking about just center dudes, Joe Val is the breakaway most popular center option that only has center ownership.
And he should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have run through some top FanDuel options. Now it's got to be this. Nuke of the nighttime. I know all of you guys want this bad boy. So, Eric, it is all yours.
All right. So, shout out John the Bettist from the premium Discord, from the Lindy Discord. I was a little confused when he started posting stuff because generally we kind of end up on the same wavelength day of as we're going through some of our bets. We're kind of looking at the same places for our information. Can't wait to get more of my information from josh.net. That'll be beautiful as opposed to popcornmachine.net. But I look at Sacramento, and I think there's one piece of spend up that is really kind of being underutilized right now. Not in like some crazy kind of way, and I still don't know if we can get like 35 minutes out of him. But I love Domantas Sabonis on this slate, especially on FanDuel. For you FanDuel folks, 7,900 on FanDuel for him. One of our highest leverage scores that you have on the FanDuel side of things. But I look at Domantas Sabonis and Philly with Joel Embiid on the floor. Joel Embiid is not the same defender he was once upon a time. This thing moves up and down the floor a little bit. And I'm starting to feel a little tingly here for me. 7% Domantas Sabonis on this slate. He avoids the Kevin Durant piece that could show up shooting guard, small forward. He avoids having to double down. Like, obviously, I'm going to play a lot of Mo Gay, but like, I think with the power forward eligibility, we can find ourselves a little bit of Domantas Sabonis here. I think there's a lot more upside than 29 minutes where we've got him. He would be the reason this game stayed competitive as well. Domantas Sabonis, nuke of the night.
I like it. I'm a little nervous about his playing time today, but otherwise, he's looking certainly. I mean, the only downside to Sabonis is the fact that you're locking it in early. I think he's got a massive ceiling here today at minimal ownership, though.
Yep, and that's going to keep his ownership way down, is my expectation and what we've got projected. So, without LaVine, if LaVine is a DNP and you knew that was just going to be the case, which I don't think is the case for what it's worth, but like, if there's limitations or DNP, you have an awesome opportunity for Sabonis. There's just no way he's getting steamed up with the positionality of Gay and some other plays that are kind of waiting in the wings. I think he fits into lineups really nicely as a spend up. So I said I was saving a guy who was 8K plus on this slate. I think he's got triple double upside. That's scary to say. I haven't bet it yet, but throwing it out there.
I'm going to Atlanta. And I'm essentially not going to spend any salary to do so. Flat 3K, power forward only. Ace and Newell, 7% owned, 7% optimal. There are so many paths to him playing more than 20 minutes. Foul trouble for Christian Coloco. Foul trouble for Mo Gay. An absolute blowout in either direction. They only have 10 guys. Somebody's got to be out on the floor if the starters aren't out there when it's over. And you can pretty confidently see a couple names that won't be out there in that case. So I think we can see him get additional time in the fourth quarter if Houston kicks the shit out of Atlanta, if Atlanta kicks the shit out of Houston, or if he just plays well. It's not like they give a shit about Mo Gay or Christian Coloco in the grand scheme of things. Asa Newell is their young guy that they'd actually like to see be out there. He's 7% owned. I don't have to lock him in at 7 o'clock. I at least have some time to get to 8, and I don't have to spend a single cent of salary to do so. My floor is so low here. If he's awful today, this lineup, any lineup you build with Asa Newell can still easily cash a contest. Nothing to worry about there. And if he's great, there's not nearly enough ownership on him to matter. Give me Asa Newell.
Love him. And obviously that's the risk of doing business here too, is Newell and Gay and then playing Sabonis. That's kind of a tough ask. Like, that's tough. But I suppose I could slide him over to center and play both of them and then play another center. So that might be something that I kind of look at here in the last couple of minutes as well, where you really stars and scrubs it up. SGA, your feelings on SGA? Yay, nay, Joaquin Phoenix. What are we doing? Are we killing him, or are we yay for SGA today?
I love him right now just because of the way the schedule works. Like, that's the 9:30 game. I'll take SGA as much as I can. And then, if I don't end up with him at that point, so be it. But he can just as easily become Cade Cunningham and some sort of swap, or Jamal Murray and some sort of swap before that. Like, you got plenty of time to work your way back out of that if you need to. I'm happy to park ownership in a situation where, realistically, he plays a shit ton of minutes in a matchup against Minnesota, which should be relatively competitive.
Yeah, fair. Okay. I wanted to give him a little bit of a boost purely because he's dominating point guard. We have so much value at forward, and we have potentially more value coming at center if Şengün sits, which I really don't know what to make of right now. This is really, really difficult. I'm going to boost Kevin Durant too, just in case. I'm all right getting stuck with a little bit of Kevin Durant if Alperen Şengün's going to be, not limited. I assume if he plays, he's just a full go, but Kevin Durant's the best play on the slate from a spend up perspective if we knew that Şengün was out right now.
The people wanted me to go with Middleton as the nuke. It went so well, not the night that I took him, but very recently after that. Middleton was great. 2.5% owned today at 5,100, just power forward eligible.
I bet his assists for what it's worth. I like it with Bub Carrington coming off the bench. That's kind of going to be a thing going forward. 20% assist rate over the course of the month without CJ McCollum on the floor. Second highest behind Kaishan George. So I've been pretty heavily in the side of Chris Middleton from a betting perspective at 3.5 assists, but boy, oh boy, do I not like him for DFS today.
Io or Trey Johnson on DraftKings?
I mean, it's got to be Io just for late. I don't want to play a ton of Trey Johnson today. Last slate, he was cheaper. And how much Trey Johnson did I end up with today? Yeah, I have 4% Trey Johnson. He's 5,600 now. This is just a completely different ball of wax at 5,600 on DK.
Favorite plays at each position for DraftKings single entry, which was essentially the theme of this entire show to this point. Do you want to rip through these in the fastest manner possible? These are all the names that we have already said 1,000 times, but point guard is 1 billion% Ryan Rollins.
Yeah, Ryan Rollins.
Shooting guard, you want to go Schroeder or Kevin Huerter?
Kevin Huerter. We got more.
Small forward.
Kevin
Is
Durant.
that going to be MPJ?
Yeah, so it could end up being Kevin Durant. I boosted him quite a bit here. Right now, Kyle Kuzma early, highest piece I have at 20%.
Yeah, Durant obviously going to look quite a bit better if Şengün is the dude that gets ruled
Brooks,
out
Grayson
in a bit.
Allen could be pretty fun too, but like I really strongly prefer Grayson Allen, even at 6,800 next to 6,700. Dylan Brooks was shooting guard, small forward.
Power forward and center, there are only 3 answers for those 2 spots. Moge, Bobby Portis, Joval as the absolute top plays at those positions.
Yep, not close.
No, I love this slate. I love the fact that we have the ability to have a double swap at 8 o'clock. So an hour after the first 2 games. Another swap at 8:30, 2 more games at 9, another one at 9:30. Perfectly set up. You guys should be using the tools at Stokastic.com, using our late swap tool. And the easiest way to do that is to just simply sign up at Stokastic using the promo code PRO, 30% off any package you're looking for, whether that's NBA, MMA, golf. We have projections and ownership for hockey as well. Tons going on. I know the NFL is winding down, but basketball is here for months upon months. Grab your first month for 30% off using that promo code. All right. Who's the anti-nuke? Who's the COVID play of the day? We got a bunch of ownership here at the top. Who do you hate the most? I mean, I think there's an easy answer here, which is going to be awful.
You want to say Moge? I don't. I don't think there's like an awful play for what it's worth. They all kind of fit in somewhat, like it's all understandable what I'm looking at. I think the worst amongst everybody, the guy I'm underweight right now to Dennis Schroeder, and that freaks the shit out of me. I know it was late news, and maybe I look at this after the fact, but I have 20% of him. He's only 30%. Okay. That's not like, I don't have a crazy underneath stand on anybody top 10. Who's your easy answer?
I'm pretty scared of Ryan Rollins. What up,
Really?
Spags?
Sorry, Spags.
Look, he's 7,800. That is not an insignificant price tag. I get the matchup's awesome, and I get that he's going to be out there for a ton of minutes. 56% owned today implies that his price is going to be like 9K soon in a matchup like this. And that feels a little heavy given other things that I could potentially swap to. Like he's clearly a good play. Have a boatload of him, and you should have a boatload of him. But, there's options. There's options.
Yeah.
And I like if I just don't have him and I have Tyrese Maxey or Jamal Murray or SGA, and like that's the only thing I did different. I think that's an interesting lineup construction.
I agree with that. Yeah,
like he's underpriced for what he has in this matchup, but that's a lot of ownership to lock in at 7 o'clock.
Sure is. I 100% agree with that. I didn't end up playing him in single entry, so I was kind of going back and forth on a couple of different pieces. We'll see what happens with Houston and Atlanta, but like I would really pinch myself and kick myself if I didn't have access to get like way over the field on Kevin Durant. This news is going to be coming after lock. Alperen Şengün news is coming after lock. There's no way people get to Houston as much as they should now. So just put a pin in that, wait for that news. If it ends up not breaking that direction where you don't have Capella Durant, that really sucks. Such is life. Amin Thompson, that would really suck. But like, I can't imagine a slate like this where I wouldn't want to get to a ton of those guys after the fact.
It's such a fun slate. And we are locked. It's 7 o'clock, man. Everybody gets to chill for a bit. You don't have to do anything until 8 o'clock. Sit back, relax, get the news at 7:30. We'll figure out what's going on with Alperen Şengün. And then it's easy season. Hopefully he's out. You use the late swap tool at Stokastic.com to make your lineups better and make your life very easy. Anything else you want to add? Eric, tell the people about Tails.
Yeah, Tails.bet. That's where you can find everybody. Myself, Josh Engleman, Greg Ehrenberg. Everybody's hanging out there, kicking it in the streets, Josh has got a bunch of Prize Picks goodness. You've got me. I'm posting a bunch of free plays. I had some Prize Picks out today. We were early to the news on Houston, Atlanta. Not my mom, for the people who wanted to know. Just absolute spam at 4:01. So that's cool. But
it is your mom. I got it right here. Never mind. Go ahead. Could talk more about tails. So talk more about tails? No? Follow Lindy on tails. Follow me on tails. Follow us both on Twitter. What else you got, brother?
End the stream.
What a close. What a close. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Use the prop tool right now at Stokastic.com and have a good night. See you tomorrow, Friday time. The week is almost over.
You can count.